At 17, Malala Yousafzai, the Pakistani schoolgirl even a bullet could not silence, was last week named the youngest ever winner of the Nobel Peace Prize. 2 years ago, Malala was shot in the head by the Taliban in retribution for her fearless 6-year campaign for girls' education. She almost died, but was airlifted to safety in England. And appropriately, she was in a chemistry lesson in her new school when the Nobel announcement was made. Already, Malala is considered a future world leader and shares her prize with an Indian campaigner for children's rights. I met up with Malala just a few weeks ago in New York, where we discussed, among other things, the brutal set of circumstances that brought her here.
Malala Yousafzai was born to a Pashtun family in Pakistan's beautiful Swat Valley. She was 5 when the planes hit the Twin Towers. At home, her father opened his first school for girls. By the time she became the school's star student, the Taliban had taken control of Swat. People were routinely beaten, their beheaded bodies left in the square. Malala was 11 when the Taliban started blowing up girls' schools, claiming they went against Islamic teachings. Her father, Ziauddin, encouraged his daughter to protest. She was able and willing. And when the BBC asked him to find a student to write about life under the Taliban, Malala stepped in, writing under a pseudonym. The blog made her known in the West and a celebrity in Pakistan, winning numerous awards. This provoked a direct threat from the Taliban. Stop, or we will stop you. A year later, aged 14, a masked gunman stopped Malala's school bus, asked for her by name, then shot her. She was treated first in Pakistan, then airlifted to Birmingham for life-saving specialist care. On her 16th birthday, she was invited to speak before the United Nations.
One child, one teacher, one book, and one pen can change the world. Education is the only solution. Education first. Thank you.
And here she is now. Malala, thank you for joining us here in New York. That was one sensational speech, especially the last line, like a clarion call. Can you describe how it felt standing there delivering?
I wrote the speech 2 weeks before the day, 12th of July, and I was not sure what should I say and how would it feel like. But when I went to the podium, when I went to the stage, and I could see 500 young people, both girls and boys from different countries, and I really felt that on this day, I'm not only speaking to 500 people, but really I'm speaking to like those millions of people who are waiting to hear my voice.
But Malala, that makes it worse if you think of millions of people.
Well, when I speak from the core of my heart, and I want to tell the truth, and I want everyone to listen to what I stand for, and to tell them that education is very important. So it would be very nice for me to realize that not only 500 people are going to listen about the importance of education, but rather millions. So I was very happy when I went to the stage. And
if that doesn't make you nervous, what does?
Well, I sometimes get nervous when it comes to my exams, and sometimes when the teacher asks questions, and I really get nervous. But in my exam, I get nervous, and it was my maths exam, non-calculator one, and I got so nervous that even though I knew how to solve the questions, I just couldn't. I was just, my hands are shaking. I couldn't do that. So in my exams, in my classroom, I do get nervous.
You were just 10, really? 10 or 11 when you started this campaign for education for girls. Was it in the beginning a personal matter about, I mean, you actually made a speech where you said, what right do the Taliban have to take away my chance of an education? Was it personal for you then? You want your chance, your go? Or was it always that you had a bigger story in mind?
So at that time in Swat, there was terrorism, and I could not go to school. My friends could not go to school, and more than 400 schools were destroyed at that time. And I wanted to speak for myself and for my friends, for the thousands of girls in Swat Valley who were deprived of education, who could not go to school anymore. And I wanted to see their future bright and my own future bright as well, because sometimes you speak for those who are suffering, but you yourself are not suffering from that problem. That's different. But in this case, in my case, I myself was suffering through it. So that's why it was a voice for girls. And I was also one of those girls.
So it was partly personal and partly because...
It was for girls, yes.
It was for all girls?
It was for all girls.
That is enormously unusual for you to be able to discuss the consequences of terrorism, for instance, when you're 10 or 11. Was it the way you were brought up? Why were you so conscious of this so early?
The first thing was that I was a girl, and it was the women and the girls who were badly suffering from terrorism. So girls were not allowed to go to market, they were not allowed to go to schools, and there was no freedom for women at all. They were limited to the four boundaries of their houses, and their only job was to cook, to clean the house, to serve their husbands. And if I could not go to school, then my future was to get married at the age of 13 or 14 and have children and then become a grandmother, and that's all. I would not have realized what talents and what skills do I have, and to show that yes, I also have an identity and I'm also a human being and I'm a woman. So without education, it's quite difficult for girls there.
Let me ask you a question though. That life you describe, getting married at 13 or 14, living within the four walls, that is the life your mother lived? That is the life of the Pashtun, not just of the Taliban?
Well, the one thing should be made clear that in Pashtun society, there are some people who are still living in that old era, but it does not mean that all Pashtun think like that, because I'm also a Pashtun, and I am talking about education. My father is a Pashtun, and he speaks for women's independence and their freedom. And so that's why my mother could not go to school, because when she was very young, she was going to school, but then she realized that her other friends were playing games and they were enjoying, and why is she just going to school? And no one told her that education is very important for her.
So you had a choice. You could live a different way to your mother.
Yes, because I had an educated father, and my father was running a school, and that school was both for girls and boys, and the school is still there, and it had 1,100 students, and my brothers were going to school. So my father wanted to treat me as his sons, and I was his daughter, so he was treating both his sons and daughters equally. And he usually says that, don't ask me what I did for my daughter, ask me what I didn't do. And I did not clip her wings. So he did not clip my wings, he let me fly.
How unusual is that in the society you grew up in, that you didn't have your wings clipped?
He made me realize that yes, I am a human being and I have equal rights as my brothers have, as men have. But other than that, he also encouraged me when I spoke, encouraged me when I did something good in my school. So I think encouragement is also very important, that it makes you believe in yourself.
Okay, and your brothers, are they just as pesky, now you're famous, as they always were?
Well, they're as cheeky as they were. They sometimes don't focus on their homework. They don't really work hard. So I'm encouraging them as well, that they should also get their education and try their best.
So you're saying you're encouraging them. Do you think encouraging is the word that they would also use for what you do to them?
Well, they think that I'm not nice to them. They think that I'm a bit unfair, and sometimes they call me cruel. They say that people say that you are the brave girl in the world. I say you're the cruelest girl in the world. So they think a bit different.
You're their older sister, of course.
But they're brothers, like the normal brothers.
Let's go back to 2007, when you're living in Mingora, the village in the Swat Valley, your homeland.
Yes.
It's a beautiful place, you say.
Very beautiful place. It's like, we call it the Switzerland of the East, but I think it's more beautiful than Switzerland. Its weather is okay. Its weather is not that much cold. And there is this special smell, this special kind of feeling that you would never find anywhere else. And it is the feeling of home. There's a river and you can sit on the side, you can do fishing and eat fishes and etc. So there are so many beautiful places there. But then in 2007, as you know, the Taliban came and they just changed the whole Swat Valley. Swat Valley was no more known for tourism, but rather for terrorism.
When the Taliban came and the horror broke out, what was it like? You were, what, 10, 11?
At that time I was 10.
And there were bodies in the square every day, weren't there? Dead bodies. How did you deal with that?
Every night you would hear the bomb blast, you would hear the firing. After every 5 or 10 minutes you would hear firing. And it's quite difficult because you cannot even sleep, and you think that you hope that you would not be the next person who would be slaughtered in the square of Mingora, and you hope that you would not be the next person who would be killed.
Why were they being slaughtered?
Well, the reasons were many. Sometimes they would think that this woman is a singer and singing is against Islam, so they would kill that woman. They would say, oh, this person is a hairdresser and haircutting is not allowed, or shaving beard is not allowed, so they would kill that person. They were against police, they were against army, and they called army like their enemies, and they're so-called like non-Muslims. They were against girls' education. They were blasting schools because they thought that going to school was a sin. A girl who gets education, she's committing a crime. That's a sinful thing.
Was that when you realised how important education was to you? It was when it was threatened that you thought...
They, all the time on the radio, they would say that this girl from that area has now stopped going to school and this girl is going to go to paradise. But the other girls who are still in school are preparing themselves for the hell. And I realized that this is the time to speak, because I do not want to live in this situation forever. And I want to speak up for my rights and for the rights of every girl in Swat Valley, and to tell the responsible people that they should do something as well. But in some circumstances, people always wait for others, and it's like we think that it's the politician's job, it's the leader's job to come and do something for us. But if you don't raise your voice, then they're not going to listen to you, then they're not going to hear your voice. So you should raise your voice. It's my message to everyone. People who are suffering through conflicts and through wars, they should speak up for themselves. They should not wait for someone else.
I think that's what people didn't realise, first of all, when you were shot, how long the campaign had happened. It seemed like all of a sudden, you know, you'd been shot and because you were standing up. In fact, you'd been doing it for 5 years. So to condense those years, the Taliban were driven out, but only after you'd had to go and live in a displacement camp. And you were writing the blog for the BBC, but then you were identified. Your name became known. So you weren't the anonymous BBC blogger anymore. When did you get your threat?
It was January 2012 that I got the threats, and I saw it on the internet. But I was okay. I wanted to continue my campaign and continue my studies as well. I was also going to school. But
you didn't believe it was a real threat?
I just thought it won't happen.
The day of the shooting, you've always said you have no memory of at all, that you woke up and you were in an English hospital. What is the last thing you remember that day?
It was my Pakistan studies exam, and I was really happy because I did well in that exam. And we were going back home, and I sat in the school bus with my friend Muniba. She's my best friend. And we were in the car talking, singing, and enjoying. And I was just 3 minutes away from my house. And then this one person came to the back and he said, "Who is Malala?" And all the girls got scared that what is this boy doing here? And some of the girls looked at me because they did not know what's going to happen. And then he suddenly took out his gun and he fired 3 bullets. One bullet hit me right here at this side of my forehead, and then the other 2 bullets hit my other 2 friends who were sitting next to me, Shazia and Kainat.
And you called your book in answer?
Yes.
I am Malala.
So when he said that, "Who is Malala?" I could not answer his question. I wish I could, because I'd always think about the situation before that incident, that what if a Talib comes, what would I say to him? And I would tell him that education is important and I'm speaking for their children as well. And I want
So you'd have
peace.
given him a lecture?
Yes, and I would have said what I always wanted. But at that time, he did not really give me a chance to say it. And as I just looked, and he just shot me. and I was not covering my face. That's why he recognized me. All the other girls, they were covering their faces except me. But after that, I don't remember anything. And suddenly, I woke up in a hospital in Birmingham. I did not know what happened, who brought me to the UK, and where are my parents. I did not know anything at all.
It must have been such a horrifying experience. One minute you're in the bus, and then you're in actually 4 hospitals later.
Yes.
2 countries later.
As I always say that I was only like 3 minutes away from my home, but the journey was so long that it never ended. And I'm still on that journey, and I'm hopeful that one day I will go back to Pakistan and go to my home, my school, see my friends, my teachers, and everyone.
Can I just ask a direct question? Your injuries, physically, how are you travelling?
So my injuries and everything, they recovered really quickly. And even though my face, it has a bit of problem, even like they did the facial nerve surgery, but it cannot be 100% the same as it was before. So it is getting better now. I can smile, I can like blink my eyes. So it is getting better every day.
And what about psychologically? I mean, how did the 9th of October 2012, when you were shot, actually affect the way you think of the world, the way you are?
I had a little bit fear in my heart that how would it feel if someone comes and shoot me, or if I get killed, and how would it feel? But when I was shot, that thing really changed. I'm stronger than I was before, and as I said at this speech in the UN, that my weakness, fear, and hopelessness died. Strength, power, and courage was born on that day. So yes, courage is now born, and I'm feeling stronger. And now I know that no one can stop me. Even death is supporting me in my cause.
Did you ever find out who the person was?
No, I don't know that person, and I don't really think about them. They might have been told by someone else, by their leaders, by the people who they follow, that go and do this. That person might have been thinking that he's doing a great job, or he is making the God happy. He might have been brainwashed. So, but he might not have realized that God has given us life, and it should be his right to take it away. And this is what we are saying, that we should not kill each other. We should respect each other's life. And lives are so sacred. Why should we just kill it for a single reason of speaking for education, or for a single reason of wanting freedom for women's rights? It's not, why should we make it an excuse and take someone's life away?
I wonder how hard it is for you to be away from home.
Well, I miss my home all the time, and I never feel like home in any country, anywhere, including Birmingham.
Can you sum it up for me, the experience of living in Birmingham?
So in Birmingham, there's only one season, that's winter. And it's a very nice place, not very special, but a very nice place. And they're very nice people because they follow the traffic rules. You would never hear like a horn or any sound in the market. Everything is going they really follow the rules. That's a good thing about the UK and about Birmingham. And I'm going to a very good school. It's amazing. So I love my school, and I love the hospital there, Queen Elizabeth Hospital, and that's why I'm there.
Yeah, but you're not planning to stay there?
Maybe not.
Are there friends there for you?
Well, I cannot find a friend like Muniba. She's still my friend. We talk on Skype, on phone, and she still tells me stories, what has happened, and I say, what's the latest news? So she's still my friend, and I can never find a friend like her. She's my best friend.
I want to show you this photo. This is it's based on a very famous kind of American cultural icon, Rosie the Riveter, and this is Malala. Have you seen this?
Yes, someone showed it to me.
It seems that the more popular you become in the West, and the more persuasive, the more uncomfortable it can be in Pakistan. How do you explain that?
Well, the first thing is that people in every country supporting me. And when I look at the cards I have received, it's from the USA, the UK, from Japan, from Australia, from Italy, from every country, from Pakistan as well. So it shows that everyone from all over the world is supporting me. But then there's a criticism as well. And it's only like, it's a very small group that criticizes very small things and very tiny, tiny things.
Your father has taken a lot of flack for the fact that you were in danger and he allowed you to do that. In fact, maybe he even encouraging you.
So my father would always tell me that, Malala, don't say the word Taliban, say the word terrorist, because if you say Taliban, you're directly like targeting them and it can put your life at risk. But I would always say the word Taliban because I say, like, there are many people who say terrorists, who say that people and those people and these people. I say we need someone to say that, yes, these are the Taliban who are doing all this terrorism and who are killing people, who are blasting schools.
So you were the one who chose to name the names?
Yes, and my father also said the name, but he did not want me to say it because he wanted to see me safe and in protection. But it was my own personal choice that I would say it. I would tell my father, okay, I'm not going to say it. But when I would go to events, when I would speak, when I would give a speech, I would always say it.
Not such a dutiful daughter then.
Well, it's a kind of disobedience, but it was about speaking for the truth and saying what's real.
He's obviously enormously important and dear to you. Do you get upset when he is criticised, as he has been?
I think we should look at those millions of people who are supporting us and how they are supporting me to continue the campaign. And they are also supporting my father, and many of them say that this is like, we need fathers like my father because he let his daughter to go forward and to do what she really wants and to let her be independent. People would criticize you if you have such big goals and if you want to bring change and if you want to make sure that 57 million children are going to school, then it's a big challenge. You are not only fighting for education, but you are also fighting against early child marriages. You are also fighting against those taboos which go against girls' rights. You are also fighting against child trafficking. So you are fighting all the issues that are stopping children from going to school. So I think that then it becomes difficult, like how you are going to do it. But if you want to take this step, then you should be ready for all the difficulties.
Is it becoming increasingly difficult to focus on a single thing? That it's what in America they call mission creep. You started off with a mission to have girls' education, and now it includes a whole range of feminist and human rights issues. Is it hard to keep your own focus?
So now I'm getting my education and I haven't finished my college and university. So I think that right now, I'm only going to focus on education and how we can do advocacy and reach the responsible people to tell them that they should fulfill their responsibility and they should listen to people and they should make sure that every child is going to school. And we are doing it through the Malala Fund, which I set up with my other friend, my father, and Shida Shahid, who is now the CEO. And we set up the Malala Fund to also do work on the ground. So if not only ask the responsible people to do something, but we also want to try our best from our side as well. So building schools we built a school in Kenya. We provided scholarship to those girls who are suffering from domestic child labor in Pakistan. We went to Jordan to help the Syrian refugee children. We also went to Nigeria to speak for those girls who are abducted by Boko Haram. And I was so lucky that I got the opportunity to meet Goodluck Jonathan and to raise the voices of those girls who escaped from the abduction and who are under the abduction, and as well as the voices of those parents who are crying and saying we want our daughters to come back home. And other than that, I also need to focus on my study because I have exams coming next year and I need to be well prepared for that if I want to continue.
That's what I wanted to ask. How is the study, the actual crucial business of your own education?
Well, it's going quite well nowadays, but I'm quite busy in the events. So it's quite difficult. I want to be the best in studies because I want education for every child, including me. And that's why I think I should focus on my education as well. I won't just step away and say, oh, I just don't want to do these campaigns anymore. I would do it, but I would do it only on my weekends, in summer holidays, winter holidays, in holidays only, not during school time.
I have read that your book, your adult book, is not available in Pakistani schools. It has been banned in parts of Pakistan. Is that true?
Well, it was banned by like a few people, few school principals, and it was not like, it's not banned in all parts of Pakistan. There are many people who have read the book, including my friend. She's reading the book.
Maniva?
Yes, and I sent her one book and everyone is asking her for the book. So she says that no one is just letting me to have the book with me. Everyone is just taking the book. So there are many people who have read it. And
the new book, which is particularly for young adults, why have you done that?
Well, it was very important to have a children's edition as well, because I spoke for children's education, and I am still speaking for children's rights and their education.
When can you go back, do you think? Is it necessary to?
Well, I want to go back to Pakistan, but it's also important for me to get quality education. So I might go there like for a visit, go there in a holiday, but I would like go there and live there after I finish my university. That's what I'm hoping.
So that is your plan?
Yes, because I think I would feel more powerful and more well prepared when I get quality education and have good experience and to know how to solve problems.
So you feel absolutely confident that you will continue moving into politics? When will that happen?
Going to politics, going back to Pakistan, I want to work for education. I want to work for the prosperity of my country, because I love Pakistan. I love the people of Pakistan. It's my home country, and I want to see it better, prosperous, developed. I want to see every child going to school in Pakistan, and my friends whom I used to see every morning going to other people's houses to clean their dishes, to clean their clothes, not going to school. And it was my dream to see those children with pens and books and in school uniform, going to school and learning. So I want to fulfill that dream and go back to my country and make sure that every child does get quality education.
And you will run for Prime Minister? Is that your plan?
I'm hopeful, and that's what I'm preparing myself for, because a politician's job is not only to highlight issues, but as well as to solve those issues.
So we'll finish where we began, if we might, Malala, which is that at that UN speech, you were wearing a shawl given to you by the family of Benazir Bhutto, still the only female Prime Minister of Pakistan. What did that mean to you?
Well, Benazir Bhutto Shaheed, she is a very brave woman leader. She was a very brave woman leader, and she showed an example to women all over the world, including girls, that they should believe in themselves, and yes, they can become prime ministers, become presidents. So she also gave a hope to me that if I want to do politics, so I have this hope that if Benazir Bhutto could become a prime minister, it means like I can also become a prime minister. So she has given this hope to every woman, every girl in Pakistan and all around the world. And that's why I wore the shawl of Benazir Bhutto on the day when I was giving my speech at the UN. And I was feeling honored, and I was feeling proud that we had such great woman leader in Pakistan.
Malala, do you ever run out of energy? Ever?
Well, I'm a human being. I do get tired, but when it comes to the campaign of education, then no.
It's been a huge pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much, Malala.
Thank you.